And today our topic is Brand Beagle and RMIT MOOCs. So through the presentation, we'll talk about project management and how we got our research. And then we'll go through the A3 processing, the problem, our current state value stream, RMIT MOOC data, the future states, plan, do, check, act, the marketing plan, our solution, and then implementation.
Okay, so for project management, we're going to be using the Agile one because waterfall is where you're going to be having to go back and forth with problems, and that's not useful because it's time costly. It also costs a lot of money if you're doing it in the real world. Ours works well Agile because it's continuously improving. We're able to work and go back on problems, and that works here because if we needed to fix something, we could easily go back and it didn't cost as much time at all.
For our research, we had no idea what a MOOC was at the beginning, but we're lucky enough that Elizabeth Ades, the CEO of Brand Beagle, works at RMIT, so we're able to interview her. She gave us a spreadsheet with 1,000 students who had done it, and we just went from there. Then for our secondary research, we used websites, and we used last semester's textbook to help us with some visual tools.
Okay, so the problem is that the lack of process mapping of the numerous digital marketing processes used to market RMIT MOOCs, and there's also a lack of retention, so people finishing the MOOC after starting it. So if I was asked the class what a MOOC was, I'm sure that except for that group over there who also did the project, no one else would know what it is, and it's a massive open online course run by two Open to Study and Future Learn. So basically it's just a course run online, it's free to sign up, it's free to do, and it just runs over, the RMIT one ran over 4 weeks, and you can do it at your own pace. It's self-learning, and it doesn't cost anything to complete.
So the first visual tool we used was value stream mapping. So for the current state, this is what MOOCs are run, this is how they run at the moment. So the clients are MOOC students, and for the previous course there are 1,000 MOOC students that enrolled in the course. So first they create the course, it takes around 6 months. Then they open enrollment. For the enrollment process, it takes about 15 minutes with a 2 minutes waiting time for all the details to be put in, and it's via internet. And then the course is run. It takes around 4 weeks with 2 hours per time. And in between the enrollment process, it takes about 2 months before the course actually starts. And then they provide feedback at the end of the course, saying you've completed the task, and if you do an assessment, you get a certificate. And throughout the process, the communication, it's all electronic with this process. And so they provide feedback at the end, they provide accreditation, and they post weekly lessons. And all up, the time it takes is 9 months, 1 week, and 17 minutes. So we use the value stream mapping as it's the best way to show the entire process, because the question was, there is a gap in the process, and to find the gap, we need to find out what the entire process is first, before we can solve the solution. Now, with the MOOC data that we got, we found a target market. So the origin student at the moment is 5% domestic and 95% international. We want that bigger. If we want to retain students and get them to enroll in an RMIT course, the best way to do that is have domestic students. That's the RMIT biggest campus is in Australia. And then also the age. There aren't enough young students doing it. If we want more MOOC students to enroll into RMIT, we want younger. A lot of the older ones have already completed a degree, and that's not what RMIT wants. They want, this is advertising what MOOC is, essentially. And so we're not getting enough people into the degree. And then after doing the current state, we've got the future state. So generally with the value stream mapping, you're taking out processes to make it more efficient. We're doing the opposite. We are adding more processes in, but we're going to keep it at the same amount of time. So it is still efficient, even though we're adding more processes. So MOOC students are the same customers. Create the course is the same, but we're implementing a marketing program as soon as the course is created. We'll be talking about the marketing program next, but this is the major part. We're adding it in. So it'll take a 2-week process and then 4 weeks of advertising throughout. And then we'll start we'll open enrollment, the same enrollment as previous. Publish the course as previous, and then lastly, instead of providing feedback, we're also going to establish a relationship. That is very important. When we get that relationship, we can get them into the course, we can retain them and get them enrolled in RMIT. So the time taken is the same. So we're going to be more efficient, but with more processes.
Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about PDCA, which is Plan, Do, Check, Act. And that's basically based on the circle method where you can keep going back and forth around the thing to continually fix problems. So it's focused on continuous improvement. So the first is to plan, and that is, we identify three main words: awareness, retention, and conversion. So basically awareness is no one knows what MOOCs are. Retention is that no one's going to, well, very little people are finishing the MOOC from starting it, and conversion relates to involving the people, getting them from the MOOC to the RMIT course, where then RMIT makes profit. So that's executing the plan. So basically we want to address awareness by creating a Facebook and a Snapchat, Twitter, something like that, to get in touch with the younger market, and that'll also help us reach the target markets. Retention, just lead management, constant communication with students, learners, to make sure that they keep going with the course, asking them what could be improved. And conversion relates to making sure that they email students, telling them about relevant courses, telling them about things that they might like to do at RMIT, then bring profit back to them. So check, that basically asked RMIT, so we could ask RMIT for the sign-ups, hold a little survey. Did they actually sign up from the MOOC? Where are they coming from? Having a look at our Facebook analytics exposure rates, so basically seeing who's looking at our pages and stuff like that, and also random surveys near universities asking students, do you know what a MOOC is, and have you thought about signing up for one? An ACT is basically, we want to learn lessons from the data. If not successful, be more direct, figure out what we need to do, e.g. maybe posters around the universities, emailing current students telling them, are you interested in this, or open sessions at work seminars, something like that.
So now we move on to the marketing A3 process plan, the other sheet.
So we did a marketing A3 plan. So beginning, we looked at RMIT. So the financial summary was only 20% who enrolled in the MOOC started, and only 10% of those finished it. So out of 1,000 people, only 200 started and 100 finished, which is not very good. So next, we moved on to the companies. What are their strengths? So they're a prestigious university, they're well funded, the opportunities, they could become the best university in Australia. Aspirations, to become more diverse, get more students involved, and results. Have students go straight from MOOCs into degree and have more people finish it. So now we did a SWOT analysis on the actual MOOCs. So the strength is, people get to try before they buy it. Weaknesses are, nobody knows what a MOOC is, there's no marketing at the moment, there's no credits towards other degrees, and only 20% start, 10% finish. Opportunities to increase the awareness, ability to get students out of the courses and have credits towards other courses. So threats, there's other universities like Swinburne has a real major one, and there's no interest at the moment. So objectives, so we've said awareness, retention, and conversion. So for the awareness, we want to raise awareness for them. Retention, we want people to remember the MOOCs and keep doing them. And conversion, we want people to go from MOOCs into full degrees. So these are some of our strategies that we've come up with. So we're going to have a Facebook page, a Twitter page, and a Snapchat and Wikispaces. So for now, for implementation. So this is the implementation table. So first we're going to start with a Facebook page, which is going to be ongoing. And we estimate the cost of about $2,000 for promoting, which we estimate 20,000 people will reach. Next we're going to have a Twitter, which is also ongoing, which is $1,000, which 5,000 people are going to reach. So next we're going to have a TV commercial, which we estimate 4 million people might see, and radio 3 weeks. And then lastly, Wikispaces, where we're going to keep in touch with students and ask them how they're going, if they need any help.
Have like an online social community. All right, so this is our solution to the problem. With a marketing plan, if we add this in as the gap in the processing, we'll be able to solve the problem of lack of awareness for the MOOCs and solve the problem of not enough people coming from RMIT MOOCs to RMIT courses. Thank you.